Okay, so today is a real talk. Now, I've just posted a video on my Instagram talking about, how I've got people messaging me like on the daily, every single week, if I have OnlyFans. People asking me about masturbation and how it affects their ability to grow or to become better. Now, there's a lot of creeps on social media, all of that shit. But anyway, then it got me thinking to the topic of, OnlyFans, porn, masturbation, all of that type of shit. Okay? Now, I think in today's society, it's like a pretty toxic norm for porn, and masturbation. Unfortunately, my era specifically, our day and age, we grew up with pornography, masturbation being completely normalized, and to us it was kind of like, well, everyone else does it, it's all over social media, it's all over like the internet, it must be normal. Whereas if you look at someone like, like a proper gent, an OG back in the day, they never had that type of shit. They didn't have that temptation running around. And by the way, these talks are like, it's real. It's called real talk. So we're gonna dive straight into it. It got me thinking like, the men back then, like the OGs, they didn't have any of this temptation. They found a woman, they fell in love, all of that type of shit. The traditional way. And I think the problem with this generation is like it's too normalized. And I think a lot of people have built problems around that, specifically in relationships, And listen, I'm not a saint, okay? I struggled with this for a long time. I grew up in a boarding school, in an all-guys school. And the funny thing is, before I went to boarding school, I didn't really know much about that type of stuff. I mean, the first time I found out, this is going to be a bit explicit or whatever, about a BJ, I thought it was someone's blow drying their hair. So masturbation to me at that point was very much like it was very weird. I couldn't understand like why someone would jerk off to a screen. Like, can you not just go get a girlfriend or get a chick or whatever? And anyway, I went into that boarding school and it was so normal. It was so normalized by like society, by the guys. They talk openly about it. I mean, we had fucking people literally in class, putting up a phone and watching porn. Like, it was crazy. It was so normal. Anyway, so growing up with that, which I mean, I'm sure a lot of us are in that same position, in that same situation. It's so easily accessible. But I think the first time porn came out was probably through a magazine, like back in the day. And now anyone can access it. Fucking kids, and I've heard like people, friends, their brothers, their sisters, they are busy doing this shit at like 13, 12, some 10 years old. And I'm like, jeepers, man. I don't even think I don't have a phone at that age, And it's kind of like shocking and it's kind of disturbing, that we've again normalized this type of behavior and stuff. And it does have an effect, 100% on your clarity. Like I said, I went through that shit. To me growing up or to men specifically, I guess it's normalized, but it's not like, if you think about it, it's not being loyal in a relationship. You are fucking getting off to someone else, something else, and the worst part is, it's not even real. It's pixels on a screen. Like the fact that like we fall into temptation over pixels on a screen and self-satisfaction is actually, if you think about it, like quite a fucking weird topic. It's very strange if you actually look into it. I mean, let's be honest, like, are you proud of it? That's the thing I always ask. Like, how do you feel after? Are you fucking proud of doing that? Anyway, I can rant on about this for ages. But this is just a topic that's come up. And I think a lot of, you get all these like gurus, these successful people that like they do the no fat challenge and how it changes their lives and your mental, and that makes complete sense. First of all, you got to build discipline. You got to build discipline to be able to resist such a simple temptation. You know, you need to make sure that you have discipline to fight those temptations. You know, rather harness that fucking energy and use it elsewhere. Use it to be productive. Like, it's such a crazy concept if you actually fucking think about it. And you know, I can guarantee you a lot of us don't fucking feel proud about it either. In that topic, you know, I made a video. The video I made today was more about like, you know, someone asking me on those, when I do a question poll, Q&As, someone asked me if I have OnlyFans. And basically how this all came about was I made a video talking about I don't have OnlyFans and how I think about it, and that, you know, the best way to fucking overcome that is to literally just get in the best damn shape of your life, build that confidence that you don't have to go and stare at a damn phone, that you can actually go out, have the confidence. And you know what? Confidence attracts. Like, if you're a dude and you're like struggling with girls, women love confidence. They smell it on you, right? So if that is your main goal, is to find chicks and, you know, be in that state, then confidence is up there. Rather than jerking off or getting off to a fucking screen, get in the best shape of your life, become disciplined, lock in, prioritize fucking grafting, working on yourself, making money, getting the best damn shape of your life, and all of that shit will come. You'll never have to jerk off to a damn screen again. But anyway, that is my stance, and that's how I kind of, you know, threw me back to when I had those troubles, and it was difficult, and it's an addiction at the end of the day, you know, and an addiction that is not healthy. It's an unhealthy addiction, as are all. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on that. If I can rather cut that shit out, this is my opinion, cut that shit out. Use that energy, work on yourself, build yourself, your morals, fucking make money, and then everything else will come. Anyway, that was one of another episode of Real Talk, where you guys are going to get the authenticity of me. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys want to know anything else. Comment down below, and I'll check you guys for the next one. Oh, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff.